Last week, a transgender teenager named Milo Stewart uploaded a YouTube video titled, "All cis people are transphobic, and you're probably racist too."
A 17-year-old woman, to be precise. I mean, I don't know about you, but when you're 17, you've got a little bit of noodles in there to kind of think for yourself. And this wasn't just a teenager, this was a person who was a bigot. But hey, forget she's a bigot. Forget that she said something monumentally stupid. And it's not because of her age, it's because of her politics. Well, forget all about that. It was a teenager, and that is wrong. You can't criticise a teenager because she's a teenager, even though she's saying something bigoted. But hey, go on ahead, Contra. Continue.
So, what do you think happened next?
Oh, I don't know. People made responses like they do. I mean, this is YouTube after all. This is the debate community in which we are a part of. You put stuff out there, it's going to get criticised. I mean, if Ken Livingstone can get criticised for shit, so can she, right? I get criticised. I've got criticised recently for bringing shit up, but less said about that, the better. Seriously, come on, we know what happened. Everyone knows.
How did the YouTube anti-SJW community respond?
With the typical wit and reason that we are known for, of course, ContraPoint.
Well, since it's a community that prides itself on its cool-headed rationality and willingness to stand up for free speech, you might have expected a compassionate and measured retort. But you didn't expect that, did you?
Wait, did he say be compassionate towards a bigot who labelled an entire demographic, in fact no, 2 demographics, 3 demographics, being bigots themselves? Simply by being demographics, we should show compassion to this person? Since when? Hitchens never used to show compassion to people who used to let people die in charities. And by that I mean the Mother Teresa. He would not have stood for that. He wouldn't have given her compassion in a debate. No way. He'd have gone out there, all guns blazing, like he did. When nobody else would criticise her, he did. But hey, because this is a transgender teenager who... Well, because she's a transgender teenager, we can't criticise her. We can't be, very critical. We can't be a little bit mean, even though she's being very mean to an entire group of people, plus several others. No, we can't do that. We've got to be compassionate and measured. We can be measured, but you don't have to be compassionate. I don't understand that. Why do you have to be nice to them? Others were nice, and they reflected their personalities in that. Others, like me, we were not so nice. In fact, I have only done 2, 3 responses to her, him, whatever. I really just don't really get this whole thing about being nice to people when they're bigots. But hey, whatever, Contra, explain yourself.
And neither did I.
Fuck, yeah. Cherry picking, it's backbreaking work on the internet and in debates, innit?
Milo's video inspired several mean-spirited video responses.
Define mean-spirited, because when I saw Tyler's video, that wasn't mean-spirited, that was factual, if anything. He just said it in a neutral fashion, like he does in most of his videos, unless he's taking the piss. But as far as I remember, he was doing it like he normally does it. Didn't see Mr. Epsion's, don't care. I assume his was just ultra serious, like it usually is. And as for The Amazing Atheist, yes, that was mean-spirited. But that's his style. That's his thing. He was using humour to put forward his argument, and if that humour was mean-spirited, so be it. There's nothing stopping you from being mean-spirited, or them, the SJWs. Well, wait, you are an SJW, from being mean-spirited either. It's all fun and games, isn't it, apparently? There's nothing wrong with that, I don't care. It's just the internet. But hey, it's just the internet, it's just like misogyny, innit?
But the one I want to focus on is The Amazing Atheists.
Why? Were the others just, too mean-spirited, or were they just too fact-based for your liking? So you had to get one that was a bit more humour-based, but had just enough fact for you to criticise a little bit, but it had enough humour for you to review, basically. Is that it?
Before I dig in, I should say that TJ is by no means the worst anti-SJW vlogger out there. He has a kind of self-awareness about himself.
But hey, don't feel bad, I barely have a penis either.
Very funny, yeah. It's okay to do dick jokes when you guys do it, but when we make sexual jokes, oh my god, cry hysteria is prejudice.
And about his audience.
These brainless fucking insects!
That I respect.
I'm sure you know that's irony, but I don't think you know that's irony. That's The Amazing Atheist's thing. Come on, ContraPoints. You've been on YouTube long enough to know what TJ's like. Oh wait, you've had a little bit of a break recently, so I don't think you really know what's going on right now. But hey, whatever, unlike Heisenberg, I'm not giving you a free pass.
And that's really lacking in certain other vloggers I could mention.
Of course, the obligatory Thunderfoot mention. Oh, Thunder Christ, thou art in the Czech Republic.
In his video response to Milo, TJ even seems to realize that he's too smart to be saying the things he's saying. He almost seems trapped, like he's a hostage who has to cater to these dum-dums in the comments.
No, it's called one, being a YouTuber with 800,000 subscribers, which means you're going to have a lot of dislikes and a lot of likes. And it's called self-deprecating humour. That's kind of his thing. He builds himself up to have this massive ego and then destroys himself with a joke. That's what it is, alright? You do know this. That's how it works. He's not caught in a trap. It's the amazing atheist. If it's one thing he isn't, he's caught in a trap about what to believe. He's one of the most single-minded individuals on the internet. He doesn't need you psychoanalyzing him. You're not Glebs.
And yet there he is. A grown man publicly mocking a transgender 17-year-old on the internet.
Oh wow, wait, it's not like he's mocked 17-year-old bigots before, right? I mean, does anyone remember his beef with Lacey Green, how that started? That started when her, an SJW, attacked him for attacking a bigot. She was a homophobic teenager. She was around the same age as Milo is now. She probably will be in her 20s now, my age, or maybe a bit older, I don't know. You're doing the exact same thing that Lacey did. Because of ideological reasons and personal beef, maybe, I don't know. You're attacking TJ and us. And defending a bigot. Do you know what you're doing, Contra? Do you know what you're doing? It doesn't matter her age. It doesn't matter her sexuality or her gender. The fact was, what came out of her mouth was bigoted and it got criticised, and that is okay. It doesn't matter what your age is. There might be a limit. I can probably concede that. If she was a child, not a teenager, who is practically fit enough to think for herself, her brain is pretty much fully developed. If she was, say, 7 or 10, 12, 13 at a push, 14 even, I'd be like, yeah, clearly been brainwashed, not thinking for themselves, just regurgitating what the parents or the teachers are telling her, which, funnily enough, might be a little bit of stuff there, but she still has the rationalisation to come to the conclusion that she's come to, hasn't she? We're not talking about a baby, we're talking about a person who is practically an adult now. She's fully developed, pretty much. She just can't drink or, well, I don't know about the age of consent in Louisiana. She's from New Orleans, I think. I don't know what that is, but she can't drink yet. But apart from that, she's fully developed. I remember the first time I was called a fully developed person was 16. You can't use her age and her gender as something to say, no, you can't criticise her or be mean to her. Tough shit. They're mean to each other, they're mean to us, they say horrible things. So what? Criticise them. I just don't get why that is an argument. It's not an argument.
Hey guys, I may appear female, but I am in fact a non-binary trans person who prefers male pronouns. I am oppressed!
Welcome to the YouTube community, Milo. You're going to make a lot of friends here.
Yeah, you'll make plenty of friends being a bigot, Milo. Remember that. It's so funny that we're the bad guys, we're the bullies, for criticising a bigot. Strange, isn't it, people?
There's obviously a difference between criticizing and bullying, but on YouTube, bullying often tries to pass itself off as critique.
Oh, so now she's being bullied just because she got criticised and rightfully mocked and ridiculed and basically thrown to the lions for holding bigoted views and attacking whole demographics of people. You know, if she was a fascist, if she was an alt-righter, if she was, well, anti-feminists like every single person you've criticised here, you would be calling her out, rightfully, for this bigotry. But she isn't. She's one of yours. And, well, what are you doing? You're defending her. This isn't about her being bullied. You know damn well she wasn't being bullied. You're just closing ranks and defending an ideological ally. Why? I don't know. Virtue signalling? It could well be that. It could possibly even be white knighting. But I don't really see you as the white knighting type. You're more of an ideologue.
There are a lot of claims in Milo's video that are debatable. For instance,
even if you are raised by open-minded people, you will still be psychologically affected by living in a society built on imperialism, which, by the way, created cisnormativity and heteronormativity.
So, rather than pick the obvious point that she said that everyone who is cis is transphobic, everyone who is white is racist, including her, by the way, and all men are misogynistic, and other heinous things that she said, you go with that, the most tame one of the lot? Really? Really? That's debatable? That isn't debatable. That is a total, just complete fucking made up bullshit that somebody on Tumblr told her. Heteronormativity doesn't actually exist. There's gay people, straight people, bi people, and that's it. Yes, heterosexuality is the default for humans, but that is not the same as heteronormativity, because heteronormativity is bullshit. But even then, that's not the point that I'm trying to make here, is it, people? The point is that she's calling people horrible things and saying stupid ideological bullshit, yet we're the ones who are at fault here. Really? And all you can say about what she's saying is it's debatable. Debatable? There is no debate to be had here. It's bullshit. And you know it. You know it, but you still peddle it. Like an ideologue does.
I don't know what that means, but if you really wanted to engage with Milo, you might leave a comment like, "That seems like an extreme claim, Milo. Why do you say that all cis people are transphobic?"
That's what most people did. That's what they did. And you are trying to misconstrue what actually happened. You're trying to say that it was nothing but bullying and harassment and people being mean-spirited, when actually that was what most people were doing. They were actually criticising what she had to say. It doesn't matter if they were joking to criticise her. It didn't matter if they were being ultra serious. The fact of the matter is, it was all mostly criticism. Only you're showing the minority of trolls and idiots here. We know exactly what you're doing. We've seen this time and time again. You social justice warriors and ideologues do this all the time. In order to create this narrative, you have to take what little you actually have of evidence of harassment and make it look bigger than it actually is and ignore everything else. Basically, in order for us to be bullies, you have to cherry pick us. You have to do all these logical fallacies and unscrupulous tactics because, let's face it, you don't really have anything here.
But if you look at the top comments on his video, they're not like that at all. Everyone is dehumanizing him and encouraging him to kill himself.
ContraPoints, none of those things even remotely showed them saying kill yourself. This isn't a Leafy is here video, just saying. You'd either have to be incredibly socially awkward or so autistic that you don't even go out, or a dishonest, lying, manipulative ideologue to say that that is dehumanizing Milo and that it's mean and bullying. I think I know which one you are.
You might say that everyone gets nasty comments, and that's true, but on Milo's video, the nastiest, most personal, most, well, transphobic comments are also the highest rated.
Those are the tamest comments I've ever seen. I've had worse. I'm continuing to have worse right now as we speak. I'm sure some social justice warriors angry at the fact that I gave them a dose of reality in that Akala video will be calling me all sorts. Yeah, I could cherry pick a few of them and say that you're all that bad. I mean, we all know you're all that bad anyway, but that's besides the point. What you're doing here is cherry picking these comments. For all I know, you could have just put them all together in a single JPEG, and these probably aren't even the top comments. But even then, they're not that bad. They're not that bad at all. There was worse that was not even upvoted at all. It still doesn't change the fact that most of the comments were not like that. Nor does that paint us all in the same brush. Just because 400 people liked a certain comment doesn't mean that the next 100,000, 1 million people think the same. This is the problem with collectivist thinking people. In order for us to be bad, we all have to be the same. But when you put nuance and individuality into it, the argument falls apart pretty much.
Which suggests that they're representative of the general audience.
Hate to repeat myself, but I would just like to point this out. Gross generalization fallacy.
Notice that these people are supposedly so angry about the accusation of being transphobic that they respond by being transphobic.
Actually, they're being facetious ContraPoints.
It reminds me of the people who say that there is no rape culture that blames women for being raped, and, by the way, women are to blame for being raped.
That's not what Sugar Tits said, you liar.
What else does it remind me of? And this isn't even a real fucking photograph.
Right, and anything that Sugar Tits, me, any of these other people said is remotely similar to Islam, right? We're totally calling for the beheading of the kuffars, and we're trying to bloody convert people. If anything, it sounds more like you guys than us, just saying.
This is real though. It's so real.
It's so cherry-picked and so tame. But hey, that's evidence for you. This is actual academic debate by a so-called academic. Oh, no wonder Justica had to pat you on the little head. I can see why. You think you're so great at this. It's actually entertaining.
So you say that trans people and feminists need safe spaces because they're crybabies who can't handle criticism.
Considering there are trans people who aren't SJWs, we're not talking about all of them. We're talking about the ones who share your ideology. So we're talking about social justice warriors in general, not trans people. But yeah, we need you to grow backbones and stop trying to resort to segregation and censorship just in order to not hear anything. You know, you could just turn off the internet. That will solve everybody's issues. But oh no, you've got to enact it in law.
But when you look at how terribly they're actually treated in free speech zones, the safe space thing starts to make sense. And besides, you all have your own version of safe spaces anyway.
Yeah, a safe space where anyone can pretty much comment anything they want and won't get deleted. I don't delete my hate comments. I will approve them if they're marked as spam. The difference between us and you is that you guys mostly will delete your comments and not put ratings on. Well, we will just leave it on because we're not afraid of what you guys have to say, and we will allow our ideas to stand as they are in the marketplace of ideas. How is that a safe space? We're letting you in, not keeping you out. That's what a safe space is. This is what an echo chamber is. You keep us out and stop us from downrating or criticising you. Well, we let you do whatever you want. I fail to see how that's the same. That's a false equivalence. In fact, it's not even a false equivalence. This is a straight up dumbass mistake that you've just made there. Thing is though, she could have avoided all the hate mail that she got on YouTube just by not allowing the comments on. And to be fair, we would have just made responses anyway, but you'd still complain. It was like, oh, look at all these big YouTubers. Although she has more subs than me. We won't let that get out of the way. I'm a big YouTuber now. Look at them bullying this poor trans person who's a bigot. You would still complain, even without the comments and the ratings.
In this case, the complete circle jerk that is the comments section of anti-SJW videos.
I don't think you've ever been on an anti-SJW comment section, have you? It's usually left-wingers and right-wingers in an unsteady, highly unstable alliance arguing with each other about the nuances and the minutiae of the points that the YouTuber made or whatever, or this article. You really don't know what it's like. There's nothing but debate, shit posting, trolling. Sometimes SJWs will come on and get pwned when they're trying to pwn us. You've never ever read a comment section. I bet you've not even watched videos all the way through, because what happened to Amazing Atheist's video? You've quickly abandoned that, it seems. And just as an aside, people, I forgot to mention this, out of all those YouTubers that he's mentioned, only a few of them actually made a response to Milo, as far as I remember. I don't remember Sargon doing a response. He doesn't even do responses as much as he used to. He just does monologues, really, doesn't he? I don't remember Ahmed Skeptic doing one. I don't remember Shu doing it. She commented on it, but she didn't actually respond. So, yeah. ContraPoints, at least get people who actually responded rather than just using the big names for clicks, which you accused Amazing Atheists of doing, appeasing us to get clicks. That's a contradiction. I'll get me coat. What?
I mean, just look at the difference between the ratings of SJW and anti-SJW videos.
can explain this very easily. The thing is, not many SJWs actually watch anti-SJW videos. They block us, they refuse to watch anything we do, because as we know, other opinions are haram, and if they listen to us for even 1 second, their minds will explode like scanners. And remember, we are fascists, we are Nazis to them, so that anything we say could pollute and distort their minds, because that's what they think about people, that's what you think about people. While we watch their videos, we watch what they do, and we respond to them, because in our eyes, the more we watch, the more we understand. The more we understand, the better we can kick your ass in debates. That explains the like ratios in one option. The other option simply is that the videos are better. I'm sorry, they are better. The general public also watches these videos. You can call them neutrals, you can call them people who don't really have a stake on either side, maybe, or maybe these are people who stumbled upon it by accident and liked it or disliked it, and it just so happens that Joe Blogs prefers our side to your side. I mean, Francesca Ramsey works for MTV. That is a global business. That is a global company with a global audience, and she pulls massive amounts of dislikes. Why? Well, she is a racist, and the general public knows what a racist is. Even black ones, not just white ones. Sorry to say that, but it's the truth. Nobody likes SJWs, apart from SJWs, and the media, and some governments.
Which group of people is in a fucking safe space?
It's still you, because even our videos got 1,000 odd dislikes. I myself get about a couple hundred, depending on how many people watch it.
Now I should say that there are some masochists like me who actively enjoy pain and humiliation. Harder! Mommy! But I'm guessing that most of you don't enjoy being publicly abused and insulted by thousands of people.
So you admit that SJWs are just as guilty as some of our fans?
You predict that Milo will shut down his comments section, and if he does, you'll say it's because he can't take criticism and he hates freedom of speech. But how many of you anonymous cowards could sit through this kind of onslaught?
I have, several times actually. I've done it through AIU, several SJWs have done it to me recently, and Marina Shut Up fans, and Akala fans, Guardian readers. Oh, so many people have done it. I've lost count. I've even had people try to release my details on numerous occasions. So, yeah, I can handle it. What about you, Contra? Can you? It's not really about us. We can handle it. That's why we do it. If we couldn't handle it, we wouldn't be here, would we?
How many of you could have sat through it when you were fucking 17?
Bitch, I was bullied from the age of 7 till 16. I can handle it. There are preschoolers, there are elementary/primary school kids, high school kids, even adults who have just turned 18, 19, whatever, who are going through worse shit than Milo went through on the YouTube comment section. She can block us all, she can turn off the comments, doesn't matter if it's against free speech or not, whatever, you're generalising what we say anyway. Doesn't matter, she could have turned it off and avoided it all, couldn't she? Else she could have not made the video and not air her bigoted opinions in public. But she did, and she got a backlash. It wasn't bullying, it was a backlash. This is what happens when people say bigoted shit. They get a negative backlash.
It's especially hard for me to watch this kind of shit go down on YouTube, because I've been led to believe that the people leaving and upvoting these comments are, in fact, nerds.
The usual, the nerds have become the bullied. You don't even know if we're nerds. Most of us are anonymous. For all you know, they could be jocks. They could be, I don't know, valley girls, whatever the cliques are in America. And I don't know. You don't know that. All you know is there are people and you have a stereotype in your head. If anything, that's how bigotry is formed, am I right?
And I thought nerds were bullied and abused by assholes and jocks in high school, so you'd think they'd be a little kinder to other unfairly reviled people as a result.
No, she's reviled because she's a bigot, not because she's trans, okay? Stop trying to say that we don't like her because of gender, when we don't like her because of what she says. She called an entire group of people transphobic because they're not trans. That's bigoted. That's like saying all black people are thieves because they're black. That's like saying all white people are oppressors. Oh wait, that's what you say.
but they really aren't. These nerds seem incapable of genuinely asking themselves whether they're standing up to bullies or whether they've become the bullies themselves.
Again, you are the one being the bigot here, using that stereotypical, rather, if you want to take it that way, offensive image of a nerd. One calling these people nerds without knowing if they're nerds, you're just assuming and asserting that these people are nerds, when in actual fact they might not be or consider themselves nerds. You are accusing them of an act of which they're not actually doing. They're expressing their revulsion at a bigot, which last I checked wasn't bullying, am I right? But hey, it's only bullying when your opinions, your own side, are questioned, isn't it?
Now, I realize that Milo isn't communicating his ideas perfectly. He's using the kind of SJW talking points that go over well in activist circles, but don't work when your audience is deeply hostile to you from the beginning.
We're not hostile to you at the beginning, we're hostile to her because she labelled a whole group of people, no, 3 groups of people, bigots because of who they are, rather than what they say or what they do. Do you not understand that? And are you basically saying that all you activists, you're actually slacktivists because you don't really do anything. You just go on the internet and complain in Tumblr on your echo chambers. The few that are activists, well, you embarrass yourselves in public, basically. You're basically saying that you're bigots? That you believe this stuff? That all men are misogynists, all white people are racist, and all cis people are transphobic? Is that really what you think? Is this really what you're saying? ContraPoints? Do you have any self-awareness at all?
Assuming Milo doesn't retreat from the shitwave that just hit his channel, he'll eventually learn that you shouldn't say things like, "I don't care about your cisgender feelings," unless you're prepared for the locusts to descend upon you like the fucking plague of Egypt.
And what was that about dehumanizing people, ContraPoints? Look, she clearly isn't going to learn. There are people like double her age that act just like her and will never learn. Look, that video is partly inspired by 2 of the most racist people on YouTube. Gazi, whatever his surname was, and Sensei, as whatever her name is. 2 of the most racist black nationalists on YouTube. Probably the racists. I'm sorry, but she's far gone. There's just no way she's gonna learn. I mean, how can you sit there and genuinely actually give her a pass? Like, make excuses. Why are you defending her? What is going on through your head?
Wait a minute. Egyptian Sphinx? Isn't that kind of like Sargon of Akkad? Jesus Christ, these people have disciples now.
Or maybe they both like history. I know Egyptian Sphinx, by the way. At least I think it's the person that you're referring to. I think he just wants to make a pun. Egyptian, edgy. He's being silly. He's poking fun. Sargon is using an Akkadian figure from the past, not Egyptian. The only similarity is its ancient history. Akkadia is even further back than Egypt. But hey, I'm just nitpicking at this point. I know you SJWs don't like nitpicking.
I can't stand this. Back to TJ's video.
About fucking time. It was kind of just like dragging in there. I thought you weren't going to bring it back. Well, here we go, people.
It's not just the brainless fucking insects in his audience that are obtuse bullies. TJ himself mostly misrepresents Milo's arguments.
Wow, pointing them out as what they are is apparently misrepresentation, so a bigoted statement is now just a misrepresentation.
So that he can spend more time on mockery.
Mockery is a key component of debate and satire. It's how we can get points across easily to a vast audience, because unlike Teal Day and you, being ultra serious is not really the best way sometimes. I mean, even you've straight up mocked us, so you're a hypocrite right there, calling us insects, nerds, bullies, and even mocking yourself, which still counts. Come on, ContraPoints. Can you at least be consistent?
The general trend now for anti-SJW channels is to berate and pwn some hapless feminist rather than to really argue. Even the anti-SJW titan TL Deer has complained about this recently.
And TL Deer, you thought you were helping. You were actually giving us quite a bit of trouble, weren't you? But to answer his point, no, it's not. That is just a way to debunk their arguments. We are not trying to pwn them and go, look, see, sick burn there. No, they're actually trying to pwn them in a different way. They're just trying to use humour. It's like what stand-up comedians do. It's what George Carlin and Bill Hicks did. It's no different to that. It might not be to their genius level. We're just mere mortals. But it's still the same way of doing things.
Probably because he realizes it's becoming an embarrassment for the entire community he's part of.
No, because he's pretentious and he wants everyone to think like him. That's why. Not because there's a problem. There is no problem here. Few people got popular who don't believe in what he wants. He got a little bit jealous. He wanted to be the big one who could tell everyone what to do and make every guy a MGTOW who basically thinks that all the Z-women's are out to get them. That's literally all it was. It was a front. It was not a real argument. The real argument was the MGTOW philosophy stuff he was peddling in the second half of the video. Please, get your facts straight.
The sad thing about this case is that Milo actually had a point. There's some truth to the idea that everyone is racist, so long as you distinguish between explicit racial hostility and implicit prejudice and bias.
But there is no truth to that. No, not everyone is racist. Not everyone is prejudiced. There's hardly any difference between those two. Some people can be prejudiced, some people can be racist, but also people cannot be prejudiced, cannot be racist towards people. Some people are colourblind. But oh wait, that's racist now because it's denying their lived experiences or something. So even when we clearly point out that some people are not racist, they're still racist because of some bullshit that you made up.
This is a distinction that Milo himself makes.
Words like racist, misogynistic, and transphobic are not insults, nor are they stereotypes or generalizations.
Yeah, that's exactly how she used those words. You clearly are not interested in representing her argument the way she intended it to be represented. Or are you just saying she's really stupid? I'm just trying to figure this out, ContraPoints. I think I can see why they call you ContraPoints now, because there's so many contradictions and so many crazy things that you just keep saying. It's quite a pain to get through.
Rather, they are facts about the way we are socialized in a Western society.
And that's how she didn't use them.
Now, I do agree with the anti-SJWs that leftists should abandon this stupid habit of saying Western society like it's so much more evil than the progressive utopias of Russia, Uganda, and Saudi Arabia.
Are you trying to say that we're all right-wingers? I'm a leftist or a left-winger, whatever you want to call me, and I don't espouse that at all. In fact, I think what we have right now, presently, without all the social justice, is miles better than what they have in those unprogressive places. Like you say, I think we have a much freer, much more open society than them. I've never said that this society is more evil or as evil. No, there's obviously nuances in that, but I've never espoused that. Are you trying to group us all together as one, but then also simultaneously try and say that because I am against what you think, I'm a right-winger? Is that what you're trying to say? Because not all left-wingers espouse that. You're generalising again, ContraPoints. We're not on your side.
But the kid is 17 years old and trying out some new ideas.
Again, about her age. Her age is irrelevant. It doesn't matter about her age. She's still a bigot. She's not trying out these new ideas. These ideas predate her by like 40 fucking years. They're older than even me, and I'm 22. For fuck's sake. I know that's not old people. But still, the fact of the matter is that these ideas are not new. They may be new in terms of open discourse and the fact that the public and us have only recently heard of them in the last, 5 years, 10 years or something like that? It's not that new. In academia, it isn't that new. These feminists and neo-Marxists, cultural Marxists, whatever you want to call them, it doesn't matter what you call them, these extreme leftists, they've been talking about this amongst themselves and researching this in quote-unquote, of course. I'm not saying that they do research, they don't really. They've been doing this for far longer than what you're letting on, and you know this. They're not new ideas. They may have recently become more popular, but they're not new. And just because she's 17 doesn't mean we should give her a free pass. Because she's still being a bigot, and she's still espousing hatred. I don't get it. That is not anything to just brush off like, oh, she's 17, leave it. No. If she was a boy or a man or whatever, if she was a 17-year-old boy, you would be attacking her. You would not be defending her in the way you are now. And that, my friend, is sexism.
Give him a fucking break.
No.
I mean, he even clarifies his view when he says,
I talk mostly about Western societies because that is what I have the most experience with.
What's that got to do with anything? That does not admonish him or her for whatever it is that she said. She still was going on about how all cis people are bigots and how all people who are white are racist, etc, etc. Which is weird considering my mum is white and she had sex with a mixed race guy and I came out and so did my sister. So how's my mum exactly racist? And how exactly is my dad a misogynist having a kid with a woman? That doesn't make any sense, does it, people? Now, a lot of you will be wondering, why do I call her she rather than him? Because Milo is clearly not very trans. She doesn't even attempt to look like a man, apart from the short hair. But hey, look, even feminine women have short hair. So that's not an issue here. The issue is, in that video or another video, I get the two confused because they're all pretty much the same. She says, on one hand, she's been trans for 17 years, on another 5 years. And basically, she comes across in a lot of other videos. And there's a video by equal rights advocate who is actually trans. She explains everything. And basically, what we can gather is that Milo is a trans trender. And that's something that I think trans people invented to say, look, these are people who pretend to be trans because they think it's cool or edgy, and basically that's what Milo is. She's a Tumblrina, basically, that's what I'm saying. So if you ever want to know why I'm calling her a she, that's why. It's why I'll always call people like Frozen Binary and Equal Rights Advocate, Brianna Wu, etc. by their usual pronouns, because they are actually trans. I know sometimes we call Brianna Wu a he, but that's only to piss her off. But she's actually trans, she went through with it. Those two are also going through with it. Milo's not even trying. Not even trying. Hope that clears things up.
but TJ just responds with a racist caricature.
Behead the infidel! But first, let us rape her to remind her that she is female!
Islam isn't a race, ContraPoint. Come on, you're an atheist. You know about religion. You know this. Islam is not the race. Arab, European, African, hell, even East Asian is the race, not Islam. There are even ethnic Bosnians who were born in Europe, raised in Europe, who are probably Islamists. There are bloody Chechens right now who are fighting for ISIS. They're Europeans. And they're Islamists. They're not Arabs. Even Turkish people aren't Arabs. Kurdish people aren't Arabs. Although not many Kurds are Islamists, for good reason, and also not many Turks are either. But that's besides the point. Islam is not a race. And even then, the vast majority of Muslims in that area of the world, and quite a sizable minority over here in the UK at least, do think like that. They do think that way. That is what they genuinely think.
She is a witch! She eats the poo-poo!
Wait, why do people like this guy?
Because what he says is generally true and on point. There is an actual video of somebody saying "eat the poo-poo" in Ghana or Uganda somewhere. I don't know. I don't think it was Ghana. It was most likely Uganda. It was a homophobic preacher. You've seen the video. You know about this. This is what Christian Africans believe. This is what they believe. Not all of them, but a lot of them believe this. This is why so many African countries have homophobic laws. This is why homosexuality is illegal over there. Because they're bigots. Because the Bible or the Quran tells them. That isn't a racial stereotype. That's a fact. It's not a stereotype.
Well, the same reason they like this guy. But TJ should know better.
There we go again with the false equivalence and the generalization and the outright lies. We are not right-wingers. We do not like the Amazing Atheist the same way that right-wingers like Rush Limbaugh. They like Rush Limbaugh because he just panders to what they say and he fear-mongers towards them, and whatever prejudices they have, he exploits. We like TJ because he's generally right and on point, like I said before. Also, he brings up good arguments and good points, and he does it in the original way. We don't like you because you're a dishonest, lying ideologue, like Rush Limbaugh, funnily enough.
In the end, TJ has little more to offer than a misrepresentation of Milo's argument.
You do know that those jokes were meant to show Milo how she would be responded to in those societies and what they think about people like her. and how in this society we would allow her to say what she has to say and to live the way she wants to live. He didn't misrepresent her. You've not actually shown how he misrepresents her, because every time you're about to do so, you go on this wild tangent and go elsewhere. You haven't shown anything. You said a whole lot of stuff without really saying anything.
You might think to yourself, I'm not racist. I treat all people as if they deserve the same rights and same human dignity. Yeah, we've heard that lie before, racist. As far as we're concerned, you might as well be the Klansman burning the cross and lynching the black people.
But that's the general gist of what she said. She literally said, verbatim, that all cis people are transphobic, all white people are racist, and all men are misogynistic. It says it in the fucking title. I don't know what drugs you're on, I don't know how much mental gymnastics you're doing, but how is that a misrepresentation of what she said? It's the truth. You cannot even look at it like that. It is the truth. That is exactly what she said. It was paraphrased. It was a mockery of what she said, but it's still the truth. That is still what she said.
In a later video, maybe I'll take up the question of whether everyone has racist prejudices, but I probably won't use TJ as an antagonist in that video. He just doesn't have anything serious to say about the subject.
Well, why don't you go on the Drunken Peasants podcast and debate him about it? Oh wait, no, you won't, will you? You do know that comedy can be used to put across a serious point, right? You do know that. He had a serious point, but he used comedy and humour to express it. I don't see how that means he has nothing serious to say, when he did. He wouldn't have responded to her in the way he did if he didn't have something to say. Your dismissal, your condescension is just typical of the SJWs. ContraPoints is amazing. I don't know where you've been the last couple of years. I mean, I never used to watch you anyway. You were beyond my time. But you quickly adapted all the traits that these people have. Fascinating.
He could have mounted an argument against Milo's claims without attacking his gender identity and getting
These brainless fucking insects in my audience
all worked up in a hate frenzy.
And just before he was attacking the Amazing Atheist for misrepresenting Milo's shit argument, yet here he is, absolutely doing the exact same thing, in fact, if not more. He's lying. He was not whipping anyone into a frenzy, they whipped themselves into a frenzy. Or maybe Milo does it, because that type of shit breeds hate. Remember, hate breeds hate. She hates cis people, she hates white people including herself, and she hates men, even though she wants to be a man, which doesn't quite make sense, does it? But hey, whatever. Some men hate themselves. Just look at Full Mac, for example, and you. And we'll immediately see that the only misrepresenting here that is happening is you. You're misrepresenting the Amazing Atheist. He didn't even attack her gender identity. Those jokes were what those people think about her, not what he thinks about her. You do know one of his girlfriends was trans, if I remember correctly, and he's bi. Why the hell would he attack her? He's not a trans-exclusionary anti-SJW, is he? It's ridiculous.
But instead he's decided to appeal to the sort of person for whom a fat kid falling in the mud and breaking his glasses is the height of comedy. And how's that working out for him?
Even though, again, you're being a hypocrite and misrepresenting his audience and being quite bigoted towards them, quite well. He's nearly at 900,000 subscribers. He's growing steadily. He's doing quite well for himself. You, not so much. Both your videos since your return have likes and dislike ratios off the charts. Your dislikes heavily outnumber your likes. And you don't really have many subs compared to him. Don't play the ad populum game with him, you're going to lose.
Just fucking fine.
And we're also forgetting the 100,000 people who also follow the Drunken Peasants podcast. Now, I know I can concede that half of them, maybe more, will be Amazing Atheist fans. But half, maybe less of them, will be people who don't follow his channel and follow the Drunken Peasants because they like him in that style. And that boosts him up to nearly 1 million anyway, and it's only going to keep on growing. Both channels. He's doing fantastically well. You, not so much. You've gotten on such a great stride, haven't you? It's amazing. Oh, ContraPoints.
And I get that part of the fun of YouTube is watching personalities clash. I'm not saying that vlogs should be perfectly calm and rational. It's one thing when a belligerent asshole like me attacks another belligerent asshole like TJ. But when a belligerent asshole with hundreds of thousands of subscribers attacks an earnest teenager half his age and with a fraction of his audience, thereby inundating the small channel with a swarm of brainless fucking insects who are there not to engage or contribute, but to bully and torment, well, it's just kind of...
You know what's funny? He wasn't even the first person to respond. And yes, I know what you're trying to pull here. You're trying to say, oh, because he has more subs, he shouldn't respond to her because she's a smaller channel than him. Yeah, I've responded to her, and I have less subs than her. I am half the size of her channel, and I'm only, 5 years, 6 years older than her? Am I allowed to attack her because I am of a similar age to her and less subs than her? We can play this game. But we're not going to play this game. It doesn't matter how many subs she has. It doesn't matter how many subs he has or their ages. The fact of the matter is, these are two people with functioning brains who have different points of view, and one of them happens to be a bigot. And that was Milo, by the way, not TJ. Her age is irrelevant. Her channel size is irrelevant. He's not a bully for that. He's not a bully for people finding her video and disliking it en masse, because that's what happens to bigots. It happens to MTV, it happens to BuzzFeed, it happens to all these other massive channels and small channels. So what makes her any different? It doesn't make her any different. She's just part of a long list of many different SJWs who have been criticised on the internet. And they've had stupid, ideologically driven white knights like you defending her bigoted statements, not because you agree with her necessarily. I know you really don't believe what she believes. You believe half of what she believes. The less extreme parts. I was going to say non-extreme, but it's all extreme. You believe only a fraction of what she believes. But you're doing this because she's your ally. Not because of what she said was right or because she was bullied. You know she wasn't bullied. And that's what's so dishonest and horrible about your video. And why you're probably not going to last very long in this return. So, anyway, ContraPoints. I could go on, but sadly that's the end of the video, people, and it's already dragging. So, until next time, I'll see you later, and hopefully the video will be uploaded even earlier. So, yeah!